Hello, Marco, can you hear me? Hi, Ari. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So I think we could wait a couple of minutes before start in case that some more people will join. One question, can you see I have opened the notes. Can you see? Clicking the button in Miteco note taking tool. Can you see it? Hi, Samita.
Hi, Ines. Yes, I can now, and I can hear you.
Great. Thank you.
Samita, you may have some audio issues because we cannot hear you.
Oh, I haven't. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So you were unmuted, but we couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, I was muted before. Thanks. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, so it's turned out to be a bit last-minute scheduling because the upcoming summer vacations impacted people's availability, so we might have a bit smaller crowd than usual.
Yeah. Okay, we proceed to start. Welcome to the IoT Directorate IETF pre-meeting report, pre-meeting. So the draft agenda, we are going to have a reminder of the IoT Directorate reviews, then overview of the IETF, RTF IoT groups, and then mention new plan activities in case that they exist, and if someone can provide update in other SDOs, that would be great. Comments on the agenda? Okay. Please add your name in the attendance list. So a reminder about the IoT Directory reviews that we mentioned as well last time. We have sometimes comments from reviewers that they are not expert on the topic, but we just kind of to request anyway to do the review with your best of your knowledge. And I think that if you are within us into the IoT Directorate, we think that you can provide very good comments. So please take the review in case that you are assigned. Then about the overview of IETF and RTF groups, 6 law, Carles.
Hello, everyone. SIX-LO will meet in Vancouver. We currently have 5 working group documents in different stages. In the RFC editor queue, there's the IPv6 neighbor discovery multicast address listener registration. Then the next document is path-aware semantic addressing for low power and lossy networks. For this document, we received an early review from the general area. The authors produced the latest version of the draft after that. Then we also have the transmission of SHIC complex packets over 15.4 networks. SHIC is the main product of the LP1 working group, now called SHIC working group. And the plan for this draft is to produce a new version before the cutoff date, which should align with the latest additions in the SHIC architecture draft. And by the way, these updates have been discussed a couple of times in the SHIC working group interims. Then there's also the IPv6 ND prefix registration, for which we received early reviews from Interior and the general area. And finally, we have a recently adopted working group document, which is entitled Transmission of IPv6 Packets over Short-Range Optical Wireless Communications. And there's also a plan to update this draft before the cutoff date to add optional support of SHIC header compression.
Great, thank you very much, Carles. Comments or questions? Okay. We proceed to the following working group. ACE, non-Ghanaian team. Someone could provide some comments on this? Okay. For Anima, Sheng, Turles are not present, so someone can provide some comments on this? Okay. ICF, Michael, and yes? Adi?
No, yeah, so for ASDF, I guess Michael and Nicholas are here. I mean, the big thing for ASDF was that it was rechartered just recently, and now they are on a whole bunch of new agenda items and milestones, both for extending SDF, the main specification for further details and new uses, but then also this NIPSI work, non-IP gateway work that we're looking at how that interworks with the SDF. So that's the main new things for ASDF.
Great, thank you very much, Ari. Sibor, Barry, Christian? Yes, Carsten?
Yeah, I didn't see that this was empty. There's a number of documents in various stages of the pipeline, including one that completed a second IETF last call yesterday and should be published as an RFC very soon. So there's actually a 12-slide deck in the previous to last interim meeting that describes all these documents. So I'm not going to try to summarize all of these, but we do have a pretty busy schedule, and we also are looking at some applications, for instance, at a concise way to send DNS data that is more compact than what RFC 2035 provides. So yeah, this is an interesting working group.
Right, thank you very much, Carsten. Do you want to proceed with board?
I leave that to Marco.
My pleasure. Hi everyone, this is Marco. In the past months, we've published the information RFC 9423, essentially defining a very much wished and needed IANA registry for coordinating the use of target attributes that we were missing. And we have 2 documents with the RFC editor, one of which in Auth 48, for which the authors provided their consolidated reply yesterday. And thanks to the authors and Carsten for coordinating that phase. The other document with the RFC editor is still in the first edit step, also as a proposed standard. Among the other working group documents, there's a few ones that have passed at least one working group last call. 2 are waiting for Shepherd write-up. to completed a first working group last call and are waiting for a resolution from some reviewers and or the Shepherd for the follow-up Shepherd write-up to come. And two are expected to have a second working group last call, meaning one of the documents from the CoreConf cluster and the document href on constrained resource identifiers. And the last month's work has been mostly on what remains of the CoreConf documents, the href document I already mentioned, and also on the
I think we missed Marco, or I got disconnected.
I think my audio got disconnected.
Okay.
But you haven't missed much, I hope. So I was saying the recent activities include work on the CoreConf documents still to complete, the href document on constrained resource identifiers, and DNS over co-op that is marching towards working group last call, I think, and has generated a set of smaller ancillary documents to have the Butter included package delivered. But there's also work on topics related to the security protocol OSCORE for updating the key material and related identifiers and its use as proxies. And we have accelerated also on progressing what is still an individual submission document for providing corrections and clarifications on the original core specification. And this is really hands-on and driven by issues and PRs to fix those on the GitHub. And we have recently had also presentations and discussions on a possible new topic on co-op over the bundle protocol in space. Thanks, Carlos, for that. We keep this tradition of having regular interim meetings alternating with design team meetings, mostly on href and Coral. We'll meet in Vancouver for a 2-hour session. And after the extended vacation season, end of August, we plan also to resume with the same pattern again. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marco. Some comments or questions for Core or CBOR? Okay, thank you. Kose, I think we don't have Ivano, Matthew, or Michael. So someone wants to provide some feedback on this? Okay. DetNet, Janos?
Hi, everyone. I have provided update to the wiki. So practically speaking, I will be reading it out. It's easier if you take a look to see the RFC numbers and so on. We have been progressing our work. I think quite good progress. A number of RFCs published this year, and these are the list since the March IETF. We have the first two RFCs about data plane extensions. So we have the base .NET data plane, IP and MPLS, and the first RFC 9566 is adds or explains. It's an informational RFC, and it explains how to use the existing RFCs in order to have the service protection, the packet replication and elimination and ordering functions over the IP data plane as well. Practically speaking, it uses just an additional encapsulation, the MPLS over UDP IP encapsulation, and this describes the details how to do that. And the next one is RFC 9551 is the packet ordering function. So we in our original set of data plane RFCs, we've been talking about ordering function, and we actually got comments during that sort of package that it would be good to go provide some specifics, and this RFC fills in the gap to that extent. And as for OEM, Operations, Administrations, Maintenance, we have 3 documents. The OEM framework was published earlier this year before March, and this one, RFC 9546, is the extensions or the details for the MPLS data plane. And you can see in the next group the IP version, like the IP OEM, is with the RFC editor. We are waiting for its publication. And there is one more with the RFC editor, the .NET Yang. It's been taking quite a while. I consider this as a part of our first package of RFCs to complete the management part. And we also have a publication requested for the raw technologies. So that document was developed in the raw working group before it was folded into the .NET working group, and it's now just waiting for. We had the Shepherd write-up, and we are just waiting for moving it on, so it's ready to go to the final IETF review and publication, hopefully. And there are two more documents I called heading to working group last call, which are major documents. The first one is the controller plane framework. This was still part of our first package in the sense that giving some hints about the controller plane, and it's been sitting a while. It's done actually, and from chair's perspective, we will be proposing. Actually, we asked the authors to make updates, fix some nits, and we will be proposing to go to working group last call. And the other one in this list is the it's sorry, it's raw technologies again. It should be the raw architecture. It's a wrong link. The raw architecture was mainly done in the raw working group, but we still working on it, adding some. Improving consistency, let's put it this way, from my perspective. And there was a bit of an update for the previous IETF. We are working on some corresponding updates for this coming IETF. And my personal suggestion is to go to another. We had one working group last call to have a sort of a serious review by the working group, both working groups. It was for both. But given the quite some updates, the plan is to have another working group last call hopefully soon. So this is the progress of the work we have been doing so far, and there is one new document adopted by the working group. It is called the data plane taxonomy, and this is in relation to the number of .NET queuing proposals, and we have been trying to evaluate them against the scaling requirements, which is also a working group document. It was adopted last year, and trying to figure out which ones to select for the working group. And this taxonomy draft has been developed to facilitate that work. It's a recent adoption. I expect discussions in the coming IETF on it. Actually, what is going on now is we discussed at the last IETF that a couple of example topologies would be nice to have for the evaluation, and that discussion is going on the list now. So I expect these aspects to be discussed at the coming IETF. That's it in a nutshell from my side.
Great, very complete. Thank you very much, Janos. Comments or questions? Okay, thank you. IoT Ops, we don't have Alexei or Henk, so someone can provide some input. Okay, for Lake, we don't have Melissa or Stephen. Someone can provide some input. Okay, Rats, we don't have Kathleen, Nancy, or Ned. Someone could provide some input. Okay, so for role, we will not meet at the next IETF, but still we're going to have an interim meeting. We plan for September. We have AUDB Ripple and DAO projection being in the ISG were submitted. RNFD is a working group last call, and we will close soon. We will need to close the open issues in GitHub and update the write-up. Then enrollment priority is next for working group last call, and we have work in progress MOPEX, NNC extensions, and run capabilities. Comments or questions? Okay, Chic, I think Carles mentioned something.
Yes, so as a quick update, SHIC has been carrying out bi-weekly interim meetings, and I think the main contribution has been the update in the SHIC architecture draft, which is currently at 0.2. And as a result of that, it will impact on other documents like the existing 6-law draft on using SHIC over 15.4. Then there have been other topics discussed, like a draft currently focused on zero energy devices, which is a term that comes from a background of 3GPP specifications. But now there's a discussion about whether perhaps the draft can also have a bigger scope, like focusing more not only on low energy devices, but also on scenarios where there are disruptions. And also there has been some discussion about SHIC for ICMPv6, and also about using or developing some forward error correction mechanism, basically for the fragmentation part of SHIC.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Carlos. Comments or questions? Okay. Scheme, we don't have Aaron or Nancy. Someone can provide some input. The same for Skit, we don't have Hannes, John. Someone could provide some input. Okay. Sweet, David, we don't have David. Someone could provide some input. Okay, for tip, we don't have Tiru or Nancy. Someone could provide some input. Okay, for the IETF, we have got the feedback from COIN from Marie Jose. But well, the use case, the draft have been moved to the RFC editor, and there has not been a lot of activities in the list, and there is an update for goals and milestones. And they're now going to meet in Vancouver. Things to see in Richard Group. Ari?
So there's been a fair amount of activity on the Things in RG recently. First of all, we had a face-to-face meeting, first time for quite some time. It was in Paris on May 21st, and it was co-located with this hackathon on lightweight IoT security. The interim itself was focused on IoT security, implementation, operations, system aspects. We had a pretty good participation, something around 30 participants, most of them on site and some online. We actually had such a packed agenda that we had a very soon another follow-up interim with the overflow items from the first meeting. And there we had more closer focus on information data and interaction modeling, in particular around core conf and using the Yang and C4. And we will have a next interim meeting very soon that we will, but however, we will not be planning to meet in Vancouver face-to-face, but we will definitely meet in Dublin, and probably will have some interim meetings also before Dublin after the summer vacations.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Ari, comment or questions? Okay. About the new plan IETF and IRTF activities, do you have an update? Okay. And about the other SDOs input, do you have some other updates? Okay, so I think we can close the meeting. We will post this into the GitHub and let you know when the video recording is ready. Thank you very much and have a nice IETF in Vancouver.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.